A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Prem se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki. Sri Vrindavan Dhama ki. Mayapur Dhama ki. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki. Ganga Jamuna Maya ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Mutane Simati Bhakti Bhushan Swami Nityananda Prabhupada Sambandaya Sarvadra Kura Kripadaya Satirisha Shakta Krishna Marga Sri Gurave Namaste. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 5, Chapter 12, The residents of Jambudvip offer prayers. Text 12. So this is a text to learn by memory. Very important text that Srila Prabhupada cites a lot in his purports. So it's definitely worth to learn that by heart. There must be about, in our literature, I would say an average of 100 verses that we should learn by heart from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita that Srila Prabhupada recites a lot. So this is one of them. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvais gunais tatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manorathena sati davato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvais gunais tatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Samais gunais tatra samasate sura. Bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvai gunais tatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manoratena sati davato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvais gunais tatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Manoratena sati davato bahi. Okay, word for word. Yasya, of whom, asti, there is, bhaktihi, devotional service, bhagavati, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, akinchana, without any motive, sarvaihi, with all, gunaihi, good qualities, tatra, there, in that person, samasate, reside, suraha, all the demigods, harau, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, abhaktasya, of a person who is not devoted, kutaha, where, mahatguna, good qualities, manoratena, by mental speculation, asati, in the temporary material world, davataha, who is running, bahi, outside. So there's a few interesting Sanskrit words that are interesting to analyze and learn. For example, one of them is suraha, which means the demigods. Srila Prabhupada explains sura means devotee and asura demon. Right? We don't chant during the class. You're not chanting rounds, are you? No chanting during the class. Please. Abhaktasya. What would the abhaktasya mean? Non-devotee, yeah. The a means is like a, no in English, right? So we have the bhakta and we have the abhakta, like that. Mahatguna. What could that mean? Not you, Dina Dayalda, thank you.
Good qualities.
Big qualities, maha, right? Big qualities, yeah, good qualities. And then we have another interesting word. First, before that, asati. Asati is the temporary material world. Asati. Again, the non-existent world. And then we have this interesting word. I find it, specifically manoratena is translated as by mental speculation. So mana is the mind. Mana, right? And ratha? Yeah. The wheel, right? The wheel. So the mind who goes in circles, right? So Prabhupada translates it by mental speculation, so that the mind is going around and around, right? That is mental speculation. Just keeps going, right? Doesn't really get to any conclusion. Then we have bahi. Where do we find this word as well? Yes. Bahir Nrsingho, Hridaye Nrsingho. So Bahir means outside or external. In Bhagavad Gita also we find the Bahiranga Shakti, right? The external. We have the internal energy. What's that again? The intermediate, Tatastha, and then the Bahiranga Shakti. What's the internal called? Antaranga. Antaranga, yes. Antaranga Shakti, Tatastha, the living entities like you and me, and the Bahiranga Shakti. External, but still Anga, a member of the Supreme. Anta Ranga Shakti is the spiritual energy. So we are in between. Like the other day, we gave this example of the beach. Sometimes the beach is covered by the water, and sometimes it's uncovered. So sometimes the material energy, the scorching heat of the material energy, Prabhupada explains it like this. The water is like the internal energy. Sometimes we're covered by the internal energy, cooling, right? And then sometimes we're uncovered by the internal energy. The scorching heat is upon us. So we're in the material consciousness, like that. So we're in between. We're also energy of the Supreme, Prakriti, and the material nature is also energy, also Prakriti. Krishna is the Purush. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Like that. So, translation. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So, unalloyed devotion, before I go to the purport, it captures my eye, the unalloyed, which in the verse is the word akinchana. If you read Prabhupada's books, you will always find that Srila Prabhupada goes analyzing the different Sanskrit words in his purports. He targets certain words, Sanskrit words, and explains them in each paragraph. And then the next paragraph he goes to one of the words, Sanskrit words, and explains them, what the real meaning is. Because our understanding normally is very influenced by the external energy. Srila Prabhupada is giving us these gems, explaining these gems to us. Just like the other day I was selling some stones, some rocks. My grandmother, she used to have all these rocks. And then I had no clue how much they are worth, So I put them on Ricardo, and, selling online, so somebody came. But, and he explained the different minerals, And suddenly I got a better understanding. So like that, these Sanskrit words are like gems from the spiritual world. Prabhupada says one word can cause a change in our heart just by understanding one word of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 verses. But Prabhupada says it's such a nice thing given to us by Shukadev Goswami that even reading and understanding one word can benefit us so much. So here unalloyed. There's different words that, Sanskrit words that actually describe unalloyed devotional service. Now what comes to my mind is an interesting story, memory. I can't remember the devotee's name, Prabhupada disciple's name, but I think it's Brahmananda. I'm not 100% sure. But they went for a morning walk in New York. And Srila Prabhupada went to the, what is that called? Where the port is. Pier, right? Pier, yes. Where the port is. And Brahmananda could see that Prabhupada was familiar with the environment, with the place. And he walked straight ahead, and suddenly he stopped. And there was this big signboard. And Prabhupada pointed with his stick and he said, and he read, unalloyed steel. Like that. So Prabhupada actually got that word unalloyed possibly from there. Right? Prabhupada introduced so many new words into the Western, or into his books. And one of them is this word unalloyed. So an alloy is, of course, a mixture of different metals, right? You mix different metals and you get steel, or you get, like gold, you can mix with copper, you get red gold, or with, is it silver, or not sure, but you get the white gold, you get the yellow gold, like that. So that's an alloy. But unalloyed means pure, like that. So unalloyed. Prabhupada took that word from there. So our bhakti also has to become unalloyed, not mixed with any low class, like low class or lower class metals, lower class influences. And that's exactly what Prabhupada is emphasizing in his purport. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, wherein Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Shiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Sashtanindriyani Prakritishtani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal, fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. So this is also a verse I very strongly recommend to learn. Bhagavad Gita 15:7. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manas Ashtanindriyani Prakritishtani Karshati. Very easy words to remember. Amsha, we are Amshas, right? Parts of the Supreme Lord. Here Krishna says, Mama, my fragmental parts, Jiva, the Jivas, right? They're eternal and fragmental. So they're eternally fragmental. It's also something that is said in the Bhagavad Gita at the beginning. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that there was never a time where I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. So Srila Prabhupada makes a lot of emphasis in the fact that Lord Krishna is saying that we are fragmentally eternal. Not that at some point we're going to merge. In Australia they have these highways. Of course, it's, you drive on the left side. So when you come and you enter the highway, it says merge right. Right? You've seen that. You always remember. You could see that merge rightly, like merge rightly, do it well, merge with the Supreme, right? In that case, of course, with all the other cars, but merge right. But Srila Prabhupada is explaining that this is not the goal of self-realization. The goal of self-realization, of the realization of the self, is to maintain your individuality and to be, yes, qualitatively one, but quantitatively you're always different from God, from Krishna. Just like a cup of water, you can fill it up, but it doesn't mean that the cup of water is becoming the ocean. You fill the cup in the ocean, you have a cup full of salt water. It's full, it's complete, but it's not becoming the ocean. So even if in our self-realized state, yes, it's the same salt water than the ocean, but it's quantitatively different. So this is according to Srila Prabhupada, giving us the essence of the Vedas, the conclusion, or the highest state, where you actually have a relationship with the Supreme. And this small cup of water, of salty water, has the salt water has the same qualities than the salt water in the ocean. It's qualitatively the same. And it's explained, that's what Srila Prabhupada is going to get to later in the purport, that these small replicas of God that we are, they have the same qualities in minor degree than Krishna. Like Sri Krishna, he is unlimited beautiful. We are beautiful to some extent, but not unlimitedly. It's not like our beauty is appreciated eternally. Well, I would say you enter marriage, and in the beginning it's all very beautiful, but after a while you get enough of each other's beauty. But not in the case of Krishna. Krishna's beauty, the queens of Dwaraka, they are just totally absorbed and fascinated by the beauty of Krishna, always, eternally. That's pretty amazing. Imagine having a husband or a wife, and it's just she's always becoming more and more beautiful. Like, how good is that? Anyway, I keep going with the purport. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, so who knows, not you, Dinadayal Prabhu, please, but the others, who knows what the 9 processes of devotional service are? Or some of them?
Shravanam, Kirtanam.
Yeah, okay, you know. So the other 4 sitting in here in class? So Shravana means hearing, and Kirtanam, chanting. Hearing and chanting. What's the other ones? Remember, yes, very good. Remember Krishna is a devotional service. What else?
Sharing Krishna consciousness?
Doesn't exactly say that. That's part of Kirtanam, preaching. That's yeah. Pada Sevanam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotees are also considered his lotus feet. So serving the devotees. Archanam. What is Archanam? Not you two. The others, anyone know? Archanam. Archa is the deity, worshipping the deity. Vandanam. Vandanam means offer prayers. Dasyam, we're all das. So what does that mean, das? Servant. Dasyam, direct service to the Lord. Sakyam is friendship. And Atma Nivedanam, Atma is the self and total surrender of the self. But these last ones are for advanced devotees. For us, it's the Shravanam Kirtanam. Okay. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, one's heart becomes purified. And he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. So, taking prasadam, where is that? In which of the 9 processes of devotional service is taking prasadam?
Could go under Archanam.
Yes, Archanam, honoring. We honor prasad, right? We should honor. Like every bite, we should remember that this is actually Krishna. So this is part of Archanam. You offer, the food, and then you honor the remnants. So this is part of Archanam. Okay, management, temple management. Where is that? No, Dasam is more directly with Krishna. Like Hanuman, who was directly in the service of Krishna. That's the service to the devotees. I understand also a pilgrimage. No, it's also Archanam. You're looking after the temple. And the altar is part of the temple. So you're looking that everything goes smoothly. So this is also worship. Yes. Prabhupada says so in one of his classes. He's making that point. I was always wondering, what is temple? Is that? And he says so, yes, it's part of Archanam. In the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of devotees. For example, Sri Pandit Haridas is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, and grave. So I'm going to go into a few of these qualities. Magnanimous. Srila Prabhupada always tells the story of Charlemagne. Is that he was, I think, in France. He's famous as being very magnanimous. Why? Because one day. Or is it Alexander the Great now? I think it's not him. But anyway, one of these big emperors, Srila Prabhupada points out, magnanimous, what that means. And he says that day this thief came. And he was going to get punished for having stolen something. And so that king asked him, after he was being sentenced, they give him, an opportunity to speak, right? And so the thief said, so what's the difference between you and me? I've stolen a little thing, and you conquer different parts of the world. You're stealing in big time. I'm stealing small. You're stealing big. And the king said, yes, that's actually true, and let him go. Because he understood that, everything is Krishna's property. And just because my stealing is so-called legally recognized at the moment, doesn't mean I'm not a thief. Right? Like that. So that's magnanimity. He understood there's actually, even though it's a thief, he was actually right. And he accepted that. So I found that interesting. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. We're talking about Haridas Thakur, one intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. His endeavors were very pleasing. His endeavors were very pleasing. He was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna, and when one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out here what we've heard, the bhakti, the person who has unalloyed bhakti, devotion, and then we hear about the abhaktasya. So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out what's actually the difference between the two. And he is saying that the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita says that the only way, that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. So it's not the age or how long you've been practicing or what family you're coming from or how much service you have done. No, here it says that the only qualification of these good qualities only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. So it's these adornments, they're called bhushan in Sanskrit, these adornments of a Vaishnava that actually can make us understand who is a Vaishnava and who is not. There's no other. Just because you're born in a Vaishnava family doesn't mean that's what it says here. I understand. It's not birth or time or whatever. People sometimes, dress or all these things. No, it's the qualities that distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. Krishnadas Kaviraj lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. 1, he is very kind to everyone. That's also something Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that kindness is actually the highest quality of a Vaishnava. Right? He's kind. 2, he does not make anyone his enemy. So he doesn't create any enemy. He has people don't like him, that might be the case, but he's not creating enemies. He's truthful. He's equal to everyone. Not that, because somebody is pleasing our senses, we are very favorable to that person. And somebody who's not pleasing our senses, we become angry and try to, No. Vaishnava is equal to everyone. He doesn't see these artificial. His relationships are not based on sense gratification, on the feel good and feel bad thing. No, doesn't mean that he treats everybody the same way, but he doesn't. He's equal to everyone. His disposition. He's not interested in getting any sense gratification out of relationships. He wants to serve Krishna. And he sees Krishna in every relationship. Like that. No one can find any fault in him. He's magnanimous. He's mild. He's always clean. He's always clean. Not just sometimes clean. No, he's always clean. I read that yesterday and I thought, okay, good to know. He's without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He's very peaceful. He's always surrendered to Krishna. So this one is the most important quality. Prabhupada says, from that one, all the others will come. If you surrender to Krishna, then these qualities will manifest in you. And it's actually said, it's not just the qualities that will manifest in you, it's the demigods themselves. The verse says so, right? The demigods themselves become manifest in your body. Sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura. It says sura, the demigods become manifest. There's a story in the Greek history, they call it mythology, but I remember I read that when I was a boy. I was very intrigued by the Greek, especially by the Odyssey, the travels of Ulysses before he goes back to Ithaca, to his homeland. He was traveling, I think, 10 years. He couldn't find his way back because one of the demigods was against him. But then when he came back, his wife was being harassed by so many men to marry again. They were saying he's dead. And they were, of course, after he was the king of Ithaca. So they were after the land and possessions and power. And they forced her to marry again. So Ulysses came back, but he disguised himself as a beggar. And he entered his house when they were going to do the contest of winning Penelope's hand, like shooting an arrow through 7 holes of 7 axes, something like that. But these men, they couldn't do it. Most of them couldn't hardly string the bow. So when all of them were being defeated, Ulysses stood up and said, but he was disguised as a beggar. And then there was some discussion, and she said, well, everybody has the right to compete. And I remember reading that when he took off his cloth, then I can't remember which demigod it was, but there was some demigod also that was in his favor, and she or he manifested in his body. And he looked very effulgent, powerful, even though he was already getting a little elderly. So suddenly he wasn't a beggar anymore. He came out and he did the task, and he killed all the so-called men who wanted to get his wife's hand. Yes. So here also it says it's not just one demigod that manifests in our body. No. All of them. And I understand there's 33 million. So 33 million demigods become manifest in your body. Just imagine that. How good is that? Okay. He has no material desires. He's very meek. He's steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. And he is silent. So there's so much to talk about, but the last thing I'm going to mention is silence. Also, we think silence means to just keep our mouths shut, right? That is silence. But actually, according to Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's teachings, silence doesn't mean just to stop emanating sounds. Srila Prabhupada explains that real silence means to glorify Krishna. The Mayavadis or the impersonalists, they think, they do this mauna vrata, this vow of being silent. Even in the Christian church, I understand they do it once a week. They have a day where nobody talks. And but other traditions also, they have this silent a week or even a month or something. There's a famous movie of, what is it? Eat, Pray, Love, with Julia Roberts. She's, of course, she practices the so-called Hindu faith. And she goes to Italy and eats, and then she goes to India and prays, and then she goes to Bali and loves. So that's more or less the story. So when she's in India, she is in this ashram, and she does this Mauna Vrata. They don't talk, I think, for a week. In the movie, it's a week. And then it's kind of a funny scene because people become always very, especially in this, where you make a lot of advancement in a retreat, and you become very advanced. So this other lady, she comes out of this Mauna Vrata, and she starts talking. It's unbelievable. It's so amazing. Have you seen the movie? No? It's so amazing. It's blah, blah, blah. And then Julia Roberts immediately pulls out a card which says, Mauna Vrata. I'm doing the Mauna Vrata, so don't talk to me too much. Don't talk to me. And the other lady goes, oh, yes, of course. Keep silent, So yes, they do this Mauna Vrata. They don't talk for a while, but then they actually develop more desire to talk, right? About their experiences and all that. So this is not real silence. So what is real silence? Glorify Krishna. How is that silence? How is glorifying Krishna silence? And the explanation is there in Bhagavad Gita that simply by keeping silent doesn't mean you're not responding. Right? We have this experience. Sometimes somebody is bothering us and he's asking and we just kept silent. And then that person becomes agitated, angry, starts criticizing us. So no answer is also an answer. That's the English version of it, right? So silence in Bhagavad Gita, according to Bhagavad Gita, means when we learn about inaction. Srila Prabhupada explains it that karma doesn't just mean reaction. Like in modern, we say karma, instant reaction. No, it's actually not. Karma means activity. It involves not just the reaction, that also, the fruit of, it also involves desire. That's where action starts, when we desire. And then action goes into planning, goes into, like you have a seed, and then it goes into, it starts like what is that called? Sprössling in English. Starts sprouting, a sprout, yes, correct, sprout. You start, planning, and then it becomes a big plant, a big tree. That is when you act. You start acting. For example, you have the desire to steal something, right? You have the desire to, maybe you're feeling some insecurity, so you start, okay, what am I going to do about it? And then you steal. You go and rob. And then the fruit comes, the police catches you, you get locked up for a while. Like that. It goes through 4 stages. Rupa Goswami talks about it in the Nectar of Devotion. So it starts at the seed. That is also action. It's already there. Activity is already there. And it goes through different stages and then you get the fruit. So when you simply keep quiet, now this involves, activity, what we do with our hands, with our eyes, with our nose, it all is part of that. And our tongue especially, which is the most voracious and, difficult to control. It also starts there. You say something stupid and, it has a reaction on people's behavior. So if you just keep quiet, that also creates a reaction. That also, starts agitating the material energy. Whatever you say, whatever you do, it agitates the material energy. And the science behind Bhagavad Gita is that we nullify that our actions, and actually according to Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami says we have to go back to the seed and make the seed, what's the word? Neutral is one word, but non-react, like, what's the word? Futile. What is this? When a woman is?
Immune?
No. When she can't have children, a woman. What is that? Barren. Yes. Barren. Fruitful. Infruitful. Whatever. So Shukadev Goswami says we have the bhakti is the only one that actually can annihilate the potency of the seed. Because whatever you do in this world, whatever you say, it creates agitation in the matrix, in the material world. So the only way how to not annihilate, neutralize the effect of our words is when it's offered to the Supreme, of our actions as well. That's how, because Krishna is the controller of the matrix, he can reverse, neutralize the reaction to our words and actions. He's the only one who can do that. There's no other way out. That's the science of Bhagavad Gita. You act, you talk, you look at certain things, you watch certain things on the internet or whatever, and it has a reaction. But if this is offered to Krishna, our words, our thoughts, our actions, then it doesn't have a consequence. That is real inaction. So again, last class I made this point. So this is hopefully the last thing of today's class. But when the one who sees action in inaction and inaction in action is the real seer of the truth. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita like that. So simply by sitting down and not speaking and letting your beard grow doesn't mean you're not creating reaction. Because the one who sees action in inaction, he actually sees that even though he's sitting down and he's inactive, so-called externally inactive, it has a consequence. The so-called sadhus in India, you see, they don't sit down. But actually that's not the process to become free from inaction. And the one who sees inaction in action, he sees that although Arjuna was killing, he was not getting any consequence for it. He was not getting any reaction for it, even though he was on the battlefield. So this is real inaction. To offer it to Krishna, to please Krishna with our endeavors. You don't have to change your position. You can still work in an office or whatever you do, but with every move, with every breath, you always think, how is this pleasing to Vishnu or Krishna? Like that. Is this word pleasing to Krishna? Is what I'm saying now pleasing to Krishna? Like talking in the corridors, I don't know what time. I sometimes see, people talking. Is this really pleasing to Krishna? We think in the Vaishnava tradition we have this term prajalpa, right? Prajalpa. And we think like, well, talking about, ISKCON and the problems and this and that, this is Krishna conscious. But no, if it's sense gratification, if it's not pleasing to Vishnu or Krishna, then this is prajalpa. Even though you're talking about devotees and, but about, this and that and ha 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 and blah 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 blah. No, it's not Krishna Katha. Whereas you might be talking about business, talking about a big project, talking about your family with somebody else. But it's to improve the service to Krishna, to please Krishna. You might be talking about billions of dollars. If it's in order to please Krishna, then that's Krishna Katha. Not just because you're talking about, certain things in ISKCON and ha ha ha. If it's sense gratification, that is not Krishna Katha. So real silence, like the last 26 qualities, saying that the Vaishnava is silent means he's not talking whimsically or absurdly, the things that are not needed to please Krishna. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned that in a list of 26 Vaishnava qualities, it does not possess anything. How to understand that?
Well, he knows the Vaishnava doesn't possess anything. He knows there's no such things as possessions. What do you possess in this world anyway? So the difference between a Brahmana and a Vaishnava is when the thief is coming into the hut, and there's a Brahmana sitting there, and the thief goes, "Where's the money?" The Brahmana says, "It's under the mattress," right? Because he's truthful. He just tells the guy it's under the mattress. So the same situation, the thief comes in, there's a Vaishnava sitting there. The thief says, "Where's the money?" And the Vaishnava says, "I don't have any money. There's no money." So the thief goes, looks under the mattress, he finds the money. "You liar! There was so much money under the mattress." And the devotee says, "No, it's not my money. I just told you I don't have any money." So he sees his possessions being Krishna, so he doesn't really possess anything. He might be managing billions of dollars, but he doesn't possess anything. So when we move towards death, which is always, we don't know when death is going to come, we should make sure we actually understand that we don't possess anything. There's nothing you can take with you. The older you get, the more you start, people start accumulating and opinionating. What is that? Giving their opinions about politics and this and that. Like my mother, she always starts, this and that. Switzerland, this and that. It's not the same as 70 years ago. And, this happened, that happened. I say, "Mom, you're here for another max 10 years. You're 84. 10 years. I mean, of course, her mother became 99 or 98. Okay, 15 years. But that's it. Better prepare for death, for the next life. And become happy. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare